Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm a guy called Joe, and this is Bootstrapping Tools Community Support, where we help scrappy bootstrappers just like yourself figure out how to overcome some of the hurdles that they're facing with their tools or different scenarios. Before we dive into today's topic, make sure to check out our YouTube channel. We have tons of videos about all different types of applications, Retool being one of those, Google Data Studio, Google Sheets, Google App Scripts, as well as among others. So check it out. If you don't see what you're looking for, always feel free to message us at feedback@bootstrapping.tools, and we're happy to take that into account and make that one of our next upcoming videos. So today we're going to be talking about this user that engaged with us, Pixar Automotive, who is asking about in Retool, how can you create a way to toggle all of the rows within a table, or just to like select the entire column. So we're going to be doing it in Retool. If you haven't used Retool before, it's basically a low code UI creation application. It lets you drag and drop pre-built components, and all you have to do is hook that up to a data source. So on the screen, I've already just started out a completely blank app. This is what we're going to be using to go over how you can toggle it on and off. So first thing is we're going to use a table here. So that's what we're going to be toggling for the columns. And you're going to notice that you can select one, but you can't really select all because you don't really have that option. If you click on the headers, you're just going to sort the column by that value. So what we want to do here is, because Retool doesn't come naturally like out of the box as a way to toggle all of the selections, you're going to want to say allow selecting multiple rows, and that's found in the little side over here. And just make sure my head doesn't block that. This is right over here, allow selecting multiple rows. You want to check that to true. So that it's enabled. And now what's going to happen now that you have that available is that when you go over to your table and then you select multiple rows at a time, it's going to select them. So you see here you got the little blue, which is highlighting multiple rows. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to have the selection of the rows handled externally. So what we're going to do is we're going to run some JavaScript code, pretty simple one actually. So we're going to create a JavaScript query over here. And then the code that we're going to do relates to table 1. So that's going to be table 1. So that's this guy, this object over here. And then you're going to say select row, which is one of the functions that is allowed or already made available to you. You can see here that you can either select the row index or you can pass through an array. You can also pass through actually another way of doing it, which is going to be underscore range, right? And then this range, let me actually go back a little bit. This range is going to let you select dynamically like what that range should be. So with the range, you're going to start off at position 0, and then you're going to select the length of that table. So table1.data.length. So what this does essentially, and I'll actually write it down below here, is you're doing the range, right, starting from position 0 to whatever position. So in this case, if it's 5, right, it's going to be 4 because an array starts at 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are 5 rows. So that's essentially what this is doing here, since the length is equal to that amount. So once you select that range, that's basically all you need to do here. So we can actually save this, and then we'll call this select all, and then let's call this table 1, just naming convention, so that if you have to do this for another table, you don't get confused by it. So we have that. We can actually preview that, and when we preview it, we expect not preview, run. We select that all these are going to turn blue. So if you run that, and boom, select it, which is perfect. Now we also want to create another JavaScript query here that does the exact opposite, so that you can deselect all the rows after you've selected it, just in case you're like, oh snap, you don't want to have to like go through 50 rows and deselect them manually. So let's go ahead and just duplicate this, keep it simple, and then we're going to call this deselect all, and then also table 1, just for naming conventions. And instead of doing all of this, you're just going to go ahead and just like select blank within the function, and what that will do is it'll just say select nothing. So if we go over to table 1 and run this one, it's going to select all of it. And if we go over here and then run this, it should deselect all of it, exactly as expected. Now that we have this set up, what we want to do is we want to have a way that we can actually toggle that through the interface. So checkboxes are great, it's pretty intuitive. So we can go ahead and just take a checkbox and drop it in on the top here. And then let's rename the label to select all. Keep it super simple. All right. It doesn't have to be so large. You can actually bring it down, make it a little smaller, so people can check the box on or check the box off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create an event handler, and that's actually located right over here on the side. And when we create it, we're going to do the trigger, and we're going to do both of them, a select table one and then deselect all. So this already has deselect table on it already. And so what we'll do also is, make sure that you add in a value for only run when. And what this is going to do is, because you're creating two different event handlers, you don't want both of them to run at the same time every single time. So let's actually zoom out here. What we'll do is let's create the other one first. So not deselect, this will be the select all. And we want this to run when that value is equal to true. Because once we check it off, it's true to select all, you want this to run. So what we're going to do is the curly brackets and then checkbox.value equals true. And then right now it's false. So that looks good. And then for this guy, we're going to do the exact opposite of it. So that's going to be checkbox value equals false, which is right now is equal to true. So if we were to select it at, and then it became that, then it would deselect everything. So now this is running, let's go ahead and test it. Check it off, everything gets selected. We check it off, everything gets deselected, which is exactly what we want it to happen. So at a high level, this is basically how you would go about doing something like this. Once you have this done, there's always a way to clear selection from the UI over here with their built-in option for the table. But if you wanted the table to look a little nicer, you can always remove some of that option, so it's just the table. But you have now a checkbox that does both of it. So this is a really easy way if you wanted to make any changes to all of the values here. You can imagine, you can select it all, and then on the side, you can say change the sales number, or change the name, or change the email, or whatever it might be, and have a completely different function that does that for all of the selections. But that's it for our support video here. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Remember, we have many channels, many videos on the channel that go through a lot of different applications. We're currently in the middle of one for Airtable, learning how to connect that with Retool so that you can create a intuitive UI. As great as Airtable is, it's still basically like a overpowered spreadsheet, or a spreadsheet on steroids. So it's always nice to have a UI on top of that to let you focus on your work better. But of course, if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. It's the best way to support bootstrapping tools. It helps us rank better in the YouTube search, so that other bootstrappers just like yourself can find these videos and learn how to do the things that you found hardship with. That way we can all grow together. So make sure you hit that like button and support the channel. Of course, like I mentioned, we have lots of videos that are coming out that cover a wide range of different topics. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and also the bell so that you get notified when the next video releases. But that's it for this video, for this Bootstrapping Tools community support. I'm a guy called Joe, and it's been a pleasure, and I'm out.